Hello, all you scaredy cats and kittens, and welcome to the Two Scaredy Cats Podcast, where we talk about all things strange, unusual, and paranormal. We're your hostess with your mostess. I'm Stacy.
I'm Kara.
So, I actually have a really interesting news story to share with all our listeners today that came across my news feed. It was this morning. In Pittsburgh, there was a federal ruling by a federal judge that they are allowed to have the after-school Satan Club in the public school system.
That's fun. I like that.
I mean, who signs their kid up for the after-school Satan Club is what I want to know.
I'm just signing up for that. What are you talking about?
That just sounds crazy. I know. They say they do like arts and crafts and stuff, and then they talk a little bit about Satan. Okay. I'm like, that's crazy, but to each his own, I guess.
I'm interested.
But yeah, I couldn't believe when I saw that a federal judge actually said it was okay for them to be able to.
I mean, freedom of religion.
I guess.
Freedom of religion.
Yeah. So I thought that was interesting that the judges said that the Pittsburgh schools are allowed, or Pennsylvania schools are allowed to have that after school. So anyway, do you have some news to share with us about anything you might have heard or?
Well, I have two things. Okay. The first one is, I don't know if anyone else saw this, but Ghost Hunts USA has closed. They are no longer running any of their events this year.
That's not good, because like I said, me and Dad have one, I think, coming up. I gotta go check to see if it's through them or not.
You need to see if it's Ghost Hunts USA, because if so, you need to try to get your money back.
Yeah,
basically,
definitely.
They are not going to be just giving out refunds. All of their events are canceled. Here, I have the thing. Apparently, after 9 years of everything paranormal, we have made the tough decision to close Ghost Hunts USA, effective immediately. Wow. This is also how their employees found out that they were
that's really shitty.
Fired, which is kind of messed up.
Yeah, that's not cool.
Based off of a Facebook post.
Wait, they found out on Facebook? They didn't even get like an email or anything?
No, they just made a public Facebook post announcing that's closing.
Terrible.
So it says, if you are awaiting a refund for a canceled event or have reached out to request a refund event you cannot attend, please contact your credit card company or bank for further assistance. Basically, they are not giving out refunds.
Wow, that's really
they're
cruddy.
Filing for bankruptcy. So they're trying to get around having to refund people.
That's like one of the biggest ones for any of the big tours that people
that's
do.
like a place everyone all the places around here we look at, they are always there's a good chunk of
using them. Yeah,
they have public hunts, but they'll also have these specific
private
investigations where they bring in people.
Well, that's really cruddy.
And at the bottom of this post it says, today is also the last day for all of our team members. Isn't that messed up?
Wow, that is so wrong.
So not only are they trying to take everyone's money shadily, because what if you didn't check? What if you didn't check the Facebook
What
page?
if you just now found out though? Yeah, what if you what if you go to the event and then it's,
what if you
happening?
expect it to happen and you
right.
could apparently
and you show
when
up.
it first was up, you could still buy for future events, which is messed up. They didn't turn that off yet because people in the comments
they should have. That's bullshit. Yeah.
So the comments are kind of wild. Someone said, "I hope you guys look good in orange."
Yeah, you know what they say, orange is the new black.
Oh, yeah, I'm like, good lord. There's just so many upset people, and then I guess they kind of took a turn recently.
I don't blame them, though. I would be,
so it's not really a shock that they're kind of going under, because they've been they've jacked up their prices, super high for, basically the experience you're getting. Then they were shocked when they weren't getting enough bookings to be able to continue going.
That is kind of, well, that's on them then. That's,
and then it's kind of sad because the places they had booked, these places like Madison Seminary we've been to, I believe they were affected. The Fairfield County Infirmary, the place that I went to.
Yeah.
They were also in that. They now have new dates available.
Oh, there you go.
So you can still check up these places and rent them for yourself way cheaper than if you even booked through Ghost Hunts USA.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And you get a private all to yourself.
Yeah. A spooky killer.
Also,
and so what's the other news?
Interesting thing. I know we talked about cattle mutilations before on the podcast, and we were talking about remember how crazy cattle mutilations are? Well, there was a news article that came out in Austin, Texas, about 6 cows were found basically on the side of the road, mutilated, but they were all from 6 different ranches. It wasn't all the same farm either, which is kind of weird. But they were all along the same highway.
Huh.
Which spans between a good distance, but they were all found in the same exact way.
Really?
How they were
the
mutilated.
Same manner and
Their
everything.
tongues were cut out. All of 6 cows' tongues were cut out, and they weren't found together at all. They were found out spread out along this highway, the side of the highway.
Huh. That's
but
weird.
All from different places, and they there was no footsteps or anything leading up to them, and a few of them actually had their buttholes cut out.
Oh, that's
disturbing. It was
Why?
Surgically removed, which is weird. Who would do
weird.
this?
Yeah. What
and
demented person was doing that?
Yeah. I saw a story that people were like, "Oh, this is where they're using the cows to for their breeding with humans or something." I don't know.
Weird the aliens got you.
But it's still unusual that they actually made a live thing in the county's "Hey, if you have any information about this, please come forward."
Wow, that is pretty.
Because it's crazy that and they were
that many on out from different farms, but on the same road and in the same way is kind of
along the same highway.
Crazy,
basically.
Right.
Each different locations, pastures, and herds, but they were all. But the MO was the same on each of them when they found them. They were all left in the same condition, and then prey birds weren't trying to get them or anything, which is weird too.
Oh, wait. Yeah, really? The birds weren't trying to peck
They
them?
were not disturbed when they found them. Normally animals will try and eat them.
Well,
which
is
something
any type
we
of
saw
animal,
on cattle mutilations when we were talking about Skinwalker Ranch. It's all connected.
Right. Yeah.
It's all connected.
Yeah, it probably is.
But yeah, I saw this story and I was what?
Where is Skinwalker Ranch in relation to where this happened?
Well, this is in Texas. Skinwalker Ranch is in Utah, which I believe is still kind of close.
Oh, Utah.
I'd have to look at a map, though. I'm not that mathematically.
Okay, just so everybody understands, me and Kara are not, very good with maps. We get lost in a paper bag, so don't take her word for it if she says it might be right next to Utah. So.
Oh, that place sent me a message back. We're working on getting a new investigation set up. We'll talk about our experiences.
Okay.
It's $40, by the way.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. You're gonna pay for that for me, right? Because it's my
Mother's if you're going to pay for the hotel, I will happily pay for the ticket.
All right, we'll see.
We'll see.
All right.
But we are working on doing something, guys. So we will have another we haven't done an investigation in a little bit, but it's been kind of winter
crazy and crazy.
A lot of the places don't really do a lot of tours because it's too cold in them,
especially around
here. A lot
here,
of them are
on hiatus.
They don't have heat or AC, so the temperature isn't controlled inside, so you have to kind of dress.
It's very exposed to the elements, so if it's cold, we don't go into the cold.
Yeah, it's already I think it's 60 degrees in this house or something silly.
It's because your house is always an icebox.
Well, it's set at 66, but the AC's on. So I'm freezing.
Okay, you're nuts because it's not that warm outside, but anyway.
I know, so I'm like, why is the AC on?
No wonder why your bill's through the roof. Good grief.
I mean, the AC's on, so it's not really doing anything.
Right. Okay, so you're up first this time. So what do you have for us this week?
We're going to be talking about the mysterious disappearance of Brandon Swanson.
Okay, I don't think I've heard this one.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a really wild case, and... yeah, we're just gonna...
let's just rip the Band-Aid and go straight in.
This is definitely it's kind of along the lines of Missing 411, kind of just weird how, it happens and what happens.
Okay.
There was something good that happened. Obviously, he's mysteriously disappeared, so they never found him,
right.
But there was something good that did happen because of this.
Okay.
So, Brandon Swanson, he was born January 30th, 1989. This is, a pretty recent one. Story,
yeah,
actually.
It sounds like it.
He graduated from Marshall High School, which is in Minnesota.
Okay.
He was attending Minnesota West Community and Technical College in Canby. And he was studying wind turbines. So I'm like, I didn't know you could study wind turbines in college.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Well, that's kind of
cool,
right?
Yeah, that is cool. Yeah.
I guess especially in Minnesota, that's pretty out west, so it makes sense.
Well, they have a lot of
I
farms.
feel like whenever we drive that
they have
way.
a lot of farms,
Yeah.
so that's
they have a
probably
lot of flat
why.
land, which is perfect for that
exactly.
too. Yeah, so you have to like imagine this place is like in the middle of nowhere, kind of. It's Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
Like who goes to Minnesota?
Right.
It's like a small town, kind of. Everyone knows everyone, kind of vibes.
Yeah, so think of like Fargo.
So May 14th, 2008. Brandon Swanson had been attending a few parties to celebrate the end of the spring semester. He was 19 at this time.
Okay.
If you can't do quick maths, he ended up leaving Canby, which is where he was having all these parties.
Wait, did you say Candy, Candy, or did you mean
Canby?
Oh, Canby. Oh, okay.
Yeah. It was about 30 miles drive to get home, and he left the parties around midnight.
Okay.
So on the drive home, Swanson had driven into a ditch.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, he was not injured from driving into the ditch.
So was he drunk?
Is that
why was he drunk, or what's going on?
Some people think he might have been drunk because he was at parties,
right? Okay.
You know, but when his parent, we'll talk about it later.
Okay,
it's a bit spoilery.
All right.
So he's in a ditch. His car is stuck.
Mm-hmm.
He's not injured. So he calls his parents
mm-hmm.
to tell them, like, "Hey, I'm stuck. Can you come
bail me out?
Come to my location and pick me up?" Basically,
right?
Because it's really late at night too when this is all going on.
Well, yeah, you said he left at midnight, so it has to be at least 12:30,
Here's the thing. So this
a.m.
call was like around 1 a.m. ish.
Okay.
So Annette and Brian Swanson, his parents, they got in their pickup truck and they started heading to the small town called Lind, which that is where he believed he was. That is where he told them that he believes he's in Lind.
Okay.
Which is southwest of Marshall, where they live.
Okay.
So they live in the city of Marshall.
All right.
Okay, and then so they are going to pick him up, which to the place I was talking about, and they kept him on the phone while they were going to get him because he was kind of freaked out because it's like the middle of the night, you know. I feel like I would be freaked out enough that I would want someone to stay on the line. Like what happens, you know?
Right. Yeah. Definitely.
He's young too. Like I said, he's 19.
He was a young guy. Yeah.
They kept him on the line, and after not being able to find him in the spot that he initially said he believed he was in, Brandon he gave up basically, and he was like, "I'm just gonna start walking away from the car," which is you should never do this. I would say you should try to stay in the general area. He said he saw some lights in the distance, which he believed was the town of Lind, and he was going to start walking that way. And he told his parents to go to park in like a lot in this city that he knows of, like one of the bars, and just wait for him there, because they could not find him driving around. And like at least he kind of knows the area enough that he'd be able to get there. So they stay on the phone for 47 minutes, as they're waiting for him, and he exclaims, "Oh shit," and then the line, he goes silent, and they do not hear from him. The phone call does not end.
Huh.
So we know.
Okay.
Like, it seems like something happened to him, and then there's nothing happened. They did hang up, and they tried to call him back, and he did not respond. Like, he never answered. And that was basically the last, like, his last words were the "oh shit" statement.
Okay.
And that this was around 2:30 a.m. when this happened.
Okay.
So, his parents basically attempted to call him back, and they had searched around some more. They got home, and they reported him missing at 6:30 a.m. So, about 4 hours after they got off the phone with him.
Right.
Or when he suspiciously disappeared.
Right.
So, this is really messed up. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like the police department really didn't handle this well. So they reported him missing to the Lind police.
Right.
In typical police fashion, they told him that it's not unusual for college kids to go missing after the last day of classes. Which, even though they told them, like, what happened,
right,
which was a little suspicious, and that seems like foul play would have been, or something happened, clearly.
Right. And
so, one of the police officers actually told the mom that Brandon has the right to be missing. Which, that's kind of messed up. Yes, they told her that!
That's pretty messed up.
Can you imagine telling a mom that's, like, freaking out that her kid's, like, missing?
No, that's pretty messed up. Huh.
Yeah. So, the Lind police do eventually start to look for him, like, later that morning. But they do not find any trace of him in the town or outside. They do get the sheriff's office involved so that they can get like more resources instead of just like local police. They end up getting his phone records to see like exactly where the last cell tower
was where he pinged off of. Yeah.
So luckily this is like a case that's pretty recent. Mm-hmm. So they have this technology. Like a lot of like back in the day, you couldn't do this.
No. Well, you didn't have cell phones back in the day either.
Well, yeah, I know, but yeah.
No, I got what you're saying.
So they got the phone records, and they actually indicate that he was not actually calling from Lint, like he had said he was, but it's from Troughton, which was northwest of Marshall, where he was supposed to be going. Okay. So he was in a completely opposite direction.
Right, okay.
Which was along Highway 68, which is, like I said, northwest of Marshall. Mm-hmm. So at 12:30 p.m., they locate his car in the area that the phone records indicated.
Right.
Which was it was located a mile north of Highway 68. So it was not directly on the highway. His car was. He had gotten off the highway, which, so I looked at some photos of this, and Highway 68, it's a straight shot from the place he was partying at to Marshall. Okay. So it really doesn't make sense why you would get off the highway. A lot of people say maybe it's because he was drunk and he was trying to avoid police. That's some of the theories.
True, yeah.
But the mom said that when they talked to him on the phone, he seemed very coherent.
Oh, okay.
So, who knows? And then the people that were with him did say that he was drinking, but, like, we don't know how drunk he was at this time.
Right.
So, when they did find the car, there was nothing, like, amiss in the car. And because of the area, there were no tracks. There was no way to, like, tell which direction he went in. But they did, try and, like, which possible way could he have went to? And they tried to go there at night to kind of see if the lights he was talking about,
Yeah.
It's like to see if, like, follow whatever random direction they see lights and see if maybe,
right,
like, in the morning, like, but, normal, like, we're looking for a missing person kind of thing.
Right, yeah.
So, but this case is still an open case. They never found anything.
Huh.
Which is pretty crazy.
Crazy,
but because of how the police initially handled this case, the mom actually met with Marty Seifert, who was like
a state representative or something.
Yeah, it was like a representative for Marshall, or like they had jurisdiction through Marshall. So they got with him to like talk like, hey, I don't like how
this was
the police handled the case. So they actually end up which the person agreed, and they end up writing up a law.
Oh, okay.
To basically make it that, how before it was like sometimes like for missing person cases, when it's an adult, there's that 24-hour where they will not look.
Right, yeah.
Well, this law basically overwrites that.
Oh, okay.
So they have to begin looking as soon as someone is reported missing.
Okay.
But it's called Brandon's Law.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know that this was even a thing. But
okay.
I
think I've heard of Brandon's Law before, actually. I didn't realize it was from this case, huh?
Yeah, I didn't realize it was about this either. And I was like, oh. So basically, police are no longer allowed to refuse a report based on an initial belief that no criminal activity was involved.
Interesting.
And the brevity of the interval since the person was last seen. But basically, they have to search, like, if anyone reports someone. So it was written into law on July 2009, and 4 other states have actually passed similar laws like this. But yeah,
interesting.
I think that's pretty cool.
I mean, not
like
cool,
I mean,
but...
it's sucks that why it came
but
to
at least...
be. Because like I feel like if they had like started moving on the case sooner, I feel like they probably could have
figured out what happened. Yeah.
Maybe found him even, because he was only missing for 4 hours when they initially reported him. A lot of people think that he might have fallen into like a well or something,
or even a creek, maybe, and drowned. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So there was actually like water near one of the tracks that they think he could have walked on, and that was one of the they like did kind of they scoped like that whole area where the car was basically trying to find, and they never found like any sort of clues of where he went that night or what happened.
Weird.
And he did describe when he was talking to his parents on the phone that he saw like fence posts and stuff. So we don't know.
Interesting. Right. Interesting.
I literally did not know about this law, but it's kind of interesting. Hopefully more states will write that into law, because I feel like that's kind of important.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, for missing adults, yes.
Because like especially that story that's like a messed up story. Like, he was clearly coming home and said he pulled over into a ditch. You'd think they would have started looking, at least for the car.
Right. It wasn't like he was, not coming home. He was,
he was talking to like the parents and everything.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
he called them.
Yeah, that's pretty messed up that they didn't. It's crazy.
All right. Well, what do you have for today?
All right. So today I'm doing mine on it's called the Dobhar Chu. And this is a type of cryptid from Ireland. So, in the beautiful blue waters of the country of Ireland lurks a creature referred to by the Irish as a waterhound or the Irish crocodile. And this creature is known as the Dobhar Chu. And he inhabits the lakes of the British Isles, and he's been doing this since ancient times. The name Dobhar Chu actually translated means waterhound or hound of the deep. This creature is said to be a mix of, and this is pretty crazy, it's a mix of a hound dog and a giant otter. Okay, this thing is. And they say that it measures 7 feet long, and it's said to be a bloodthirsty and gruesome creature that lives deep in the waters of rivers, lakes, and the sea there in Ireland. It can travel good distances on both water and land because, well, it's part hound and it's part otter. So this hound otter cryptid is known for its speed, aggression, and the need for human flesh, apparently. This creature is said to live in pairs, and if one of the if one of the mates becomes injured or is killed, the other one that is alive will avenge the death of the mate by trying to find the person that killed them, and will then go and kill the attacker and eat them. When they are dying, the mate will give a eerie, high-pitched whistle. Yeah, I know, isn't that crazy? It gives off this eerie, high-pitched whistle to let its mate know that it's dying. So then it knows that it should go avenge the death of, whether it's the male or the female, to go avenge its death. So the reports of sightings for the Dobhar Chu date all the way back to 1684. One of the first recorded sightings happened in the Journal of Royal Society of Antiquities of Ireland in 1896 by a lady of the name Mrs. Walkington, who described it as a half dog, half fish. A few months later, a gentleman by the name of Mr. H. Chester Hart responded to her letter and told her that the name of the creature was the Dobhar Chu, and he told her that it was the king of all lakes and the father of all otters. The creature is said to live in many lakes around Ireland, and apparently it's called a Chile Island in the county of Mayo is where the largest number of modern day sightings have been taking place. Although it's also said that there is a small group of them that lives in the Sar House, Lao, and this group, they travel together, and that people have spotted them there. So as recently as 2003, an Irish artist by the name of Sean Corcoran and his wife claimed to have seen an actual Dobhar Chu in a lake on Omey Island in the county of Galway. Corcoran and his wife described the creature as swimming from east to west in the water in a matter of seconds. It leapt up onto a giant boulder before disappearing and gave a haunting screech. Yeah. He said that this creature was large and it was dark colored and it had orange flippers. He also said that its feet had this special membrane on it to help it swim through the water. Now, some people claim that the Dobhar Chu is related to Bessie. Now, I'm sure you've heard of Bessie. Bessie is said to live is said to inhabit Lake Erie, which hopefully in May, maybe we'll actually see Bessie when we're up near Lake Erie when we go to visit Cleveland. But anyway, so they think that the Dobhar Chu is actually a relative of Bessie. They think that is what's been happening is that because this creature is known to travel back and forth from Ireland and Canada and the United States through the water, like it'll swim through the water and it swims very fast. They think that that's how it is starting to appear in the U.S. And there are other instances, like in Canada especially, where several swimmers have gone missing near this like lake house, I guess, or like a that have gone missing over the past, I want to say past 10 years. Like 4 people have gone missing, and they think it's because of the creature that is in Lake Erie. So there's also a special stone. It's called the Glenade Stone, and it is found in Cornwall graveyard, and they believe it is and this particular stone is actually a grave of a woman that had been killed in 1722 by the actual Dobhar Chu. And this happened in Glendale Lake, and that's why it's called the Glendale Stone. This woman's name was Grace, and she was washing clothes in the lake at the time when she was attacked by the Dobhar Chu. Now, so what they did is they actually made this her gravestone to look like it's got like a statue of the Dobhar Chu on top of it, and it has a gentleman taking like a saber or something and killing it. So that you can also, and you can go to the lake, Glendale Lake, and you can find this gravestone there. It's like really popular. A lot of people go look for it. So if you're ever in Ireland, you should go check out the Glendale Stone and keep your eyes peeled for the Dobhar Chu, which is like part otter, part dog. So
that sounds cute, though.
Yeah, sure. Until it mauls you to death. But hey,
until it bites you to death. But
right.
Still.
Until it's lunch, But it does sound kind of cute. I mean, some of the pictures of it, its face looks like a dog. And then, I have to put them up. Yeah, the face looks like a dog, but the rest of it looks like an otter. You know how like otters have that special kind of fur on it that helps repel the water? Kind of looks like that.
Yeah, they're waterproof.
Yeah. But yeah, this crazy thing, like I said, people are still seeing it every now and then. There'll be a sighting, but you know how that is. You got to take it with a grain of salt. But they say it's not very large. It's like 7 feet. So that's why they call it the Crocodile of Ireland, because it's basically the size of a crocodile in America. So that's why they call it the Crocodile of Ireland. Now, they don't say anything about scales or anything, which I think is interesting when they talk about it. Because, like, Bessie and Nessie and all that. Like, actually, when I was reading, there was a story that they think that it is, like, a descendant of the Loch Ness Monster. That the Loch Ness Monster, like, you know how there's, like, talk that Nessie gets out of Lake Loch Ness and will travel to other lakes. And they think that the Dobhar Chu might be, related to Bessie or Nessie in that way. And then the Bessie over in Lake Erie is also related. Apparently they get around quite a bit. But yeah, that's all I have this week. Do you have anything else to add?
Nope, but I booked those tickets we were talking about.
All right.
So we're going now. We're going to be having a cool episode coming out.
Yeah, hopefully.
About our tour that we're about
adventure.
To be doing.
Yeah, our adventure that's coming up in May. Well, we are in May in a couple weeks. Yep. All right.
I didn't want to sell out, so I was like, I'm just going to buy them.
All right. Well, now we can talk about it I guess we can mention where we're going since we already got tickets.
Yeah. We're going to the House of Wills in Cleveland.
Yep.
Ohio.
So that's
which is very haunted.
In a couple weeks.
And it's related to the Satanism stuff we were talking about.
Oh, that is true. I forgot about that.
The guy who owns the house
it,
of,
yes, is apparently, yeah.
He does like Satan stuff.
Yeah. So this will be interesting, people.
I know.
So you have to hear all about it in our next episode. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about it next episode.
And maybe not next. It'll probably be in a couple.
Because I think that would be that weekend. That would come out.
Yeah,
that
it'll probably be a month. Yeah, it'll probably be like in a month. You'll hear about it. So you'll hear about it in June when we're done and back and
it'll be a special episode where we talk about our if we have any experiences and just like the house in general.
Yep.
Because I've been one other time, and it was definitely spooky. I definitely had some weird stuff happen.
Mm-hmm.
Like, unexplainable stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. So.
Can't wait.
All right. Well, if you enjoyed our podcast today, follow us on Instagram at Two Scaredy Cats Podcast, and please be sure to leave a review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. It really helps the show get discovered. And tune in 2 weeks for a new episode. And to all our scaredy cats and kittens out there, remember, curiosity didn't kill these two scaredy cats.